It is Monday. We are back. No technical weirdness. Raw Mike Richards from the DKI studios in downtown Toronto out of the Pacific Junction Hotel. Coming up today, golf. And is Tiger back? That answer is no. I know there's a lot of that. He's not going to win. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for almost winning the Valspar, and we'll see you later. But we will talk about it. Oh, you got to talk Tiger. Also, of course, the Raptors were in sort of a controlled scrimmage at Madison Square Gardens, and they played a G League team.
Officials and fans and everything showed up for it, too.
That was pretty good.
I know.
And they won by 100 points. What a joke. New York, what a joke. Now, I get that Phil Jackson's no longer stealing from them and ripping them off. But that was like, what, $60 million?
Yeah.
Over that period of time?
What a criminal.
From his ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Do you blame him if they're going to pay it? You can't blame him.
Well, you sit there and you sign up for it, but, man, what a...
Like, if the Knicks approach you and say, by the way, while you're at home playing with the little girls and occasionally coaching T-ball, do you want $15 million a year to occasionally send us a fax?
People still use those, huh?
On who you think, mail us a letter on who you think would be a good draft pick, and you come up with, well, Porzingis is good, and send.
Phil wanted to trade Porzingis, though. Remember? A year and a half ago after they drafted him, they were like, Phil was trying to get rid of Porzingis, and they said no to it, and thank God for them, they said no to him.
Thank God Porzingis. He's like, thank God I'm hurt.
Yeah.
This team is terrible.
Yeah, so true.
Awful. By the way, we'll also talk about March Madness. It was the lead up to conference time. So the conference tournaments. And just so you know, there are some people who don't even really entertain its importance. I'm not of that school, but I certainly gambled enough, and I hate the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. So
the worst.
The problem is, Dave, when you hate a team because they screwed you, when you hate them, don't let it bias going forward. That's the problem. You want them to lose. You're going, okay, good. They're going to play this team. They're going to lose for sure. And guess what happens?
Yeah, I know.
Then they play their normal game, and Clark goes on a spree, and you're like, damn it, they screwed me twice. You have to keep your hatred out of it. For instance, all the Duke haters, which, of course, is literally half the world. Okay, 3/4 of the world.
Yeah, but then the other quarter loves them.
Well, like my father.
The Dookie?
Oh, his Dookies. God, when he says Dookies, you have to realize one of the greatest coaches I've ever known says Dookies. And look, when he puts on, you know, he's 80, what is he now, 85? But he puts on, you know, that sweater vest like some coaches do.
Sure.
He looks like he could literally be sitting. He looks like, is it Bill Snyder? I'm trying to think of Snyder is the coach of Kansas State, the football team. The man with the silver hair and the glasses wears the Kansas State purple. Identical. When I see him on the sidelines, I'm like, geez, I didn't know Dad was going to coach football at K-State. That's interesting. But there's a lot to talk about on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we're going to do the Raw Mike Richards March Madness Roundtable. Will Strickland going to join us? He's going to come in. I think he's got a surprise guest. I just got mentioned that Leo Routens, we're going to give him a call that day. We'll try to add to the list because, boy, I'll tell you, trying to navigate the journey that is bracket busting, which it seems to be each and every year, but there are a couple of teams I do like. And one team, every time I see them, they tend to get stronger. It's not a surprise, at least, that a team that is that young, they are getting better every time they play together.
You mean Michigan?
Nope.
Okay.
No, that is not the team I'm talking about.
You mean Wright State?
No.
No, you don't think the 15 is going to go all the way?
Wright State, it's just some of those matchups. And I will say that here's the one prediction that I will make, and I don't think it's a huge one if you watch college ball. Xavier ain't getting through. Xavier's the number one, but they could be gone by the second round.
Yeah, Providence took care of them in the Big East, too.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Xavier, but there is one team in that number one selection that I think they...
Villanova?
No. People love Villanova.
I know. I was going to say, I think they might be one of those four.
But that ain't my team.
Okay.
That's my team, so you're going to have to watch. By the way, so we have sent out... Let's put the bracket up there.
Do it.
The Raw Mike Richards
Do it.
Challenge.
Do it.
So let's have some
challenge music.
And as you know, challenge music sounds like this. Actually, you know what? That's not that.
That's that challenge.
That
music?
is not the challenge music. Okay, now a commercial's going to come on. You watch. Nope. Let's try it. That's what we like.
Ooh, this just sounds challenging.
That is a challenge. Okay, so this is live television, and coming up, the Raw Mike Richards Bracket Challenge. So you fill out those brackets. We're going to do the show Wednesday morning. Because
Go Buffalo.
UBuff is good.
I know.
That is a good team.
You know what? Not a bad opening round matchup with Arizona, because Arizona isn't the traditional Arizona of the past.
And they seem to be having some legal problems.
Yeah, recruiting.
Yeah. So, nudge, nudge. Just give me lots of points. Give me the points. See, here's the problem.
9 points, by the way.
Also separating who you think's going to win to the degenerate side, which Dave and I are. Who you betting on? And sometimes there have been years where I mix the two and don't get them straight in my head. Like, stop thinking about point spread. You got to think straight up. Who's going to win? When do we ever talk about straight up winning? We're not 10. But you have to get it through your head. So, the Rama, do you have the brackets that I sent you today? Did they go up? Okay.
Screwing up again.
But you do have something to go up there, do you? Have got a little magic? Okay, so this is not the promo I'm probably going to run today. But we will get it out there to you when we can. So, gee, I didn't send it to you? That is very odd. Let me just...
Have you gotten a chance to look at anything yet? Like, you've scanned it a little bit?
No, really? Not really. I've not, because I'm too much of a freak.
Because I'm looking for that 5-12 upset.
Don't worry about those numbers this year, Dave. They're going to be a lot. They'll look, let's just say...
And Davidson, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, you like the Davidson.
I do.
You're in love with Davidson.
I am. Something to do with the first 5 letters of the name.
By the way, speaking of being in love with things, David is in love with San Francisco, I think, probably, the 49ers.
I am.
And look who they got on the weekend.
Well, their quarterback, yeah. Now they have a guy that's shutting down on the other side of the field. You know what? As much as I like Richard Sherman on that team, I love what the Rams did even more. Because the Rams got Talib and they got Marcus Peters from the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's like they already have Joyner in the secondary. You add these two pieces. I mean, the West is completely changing over. And I'm so happy. Sorry, Gov. I'm so happy.
Oh, the amazing Gov. You're talking about the amazing Govin.
Gov,
yes,
yeah. Gov, G-O-V.
Yeah, but
I know
he doesn't say it that way.
He does. Yeah, he does say it that way, though.
Yeah, he
doesn't.
He doesn't even do that
he
that way.
Speaks better English.
Hey,
than
that's
us.
not right, Mike. Shut up. Shut up.
Seattle may be a bottom feeder this year.
Oh,
I know. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, that's
no, we don't.
That's very upsetting.
The Rams and 49ers will go 1-2 in that division.
Could you say that one more about say what that sentence again?
Which part?
About Seattle? What could say it again?
Seattle may be bottom feeders this year.
Yeah, it took some.
That's okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
what am I, Scrizzy? Holy crap, did that take too long?
Yeah, that's true. No, Scrizzy would still be looking for the button. Christ, that guy's bad. Anyway, so yeah.
That's what friends are for.
So the Seahawks may be like that 3rd, 4th place team, depending on what the Cardinals do. You never trust the Cardinals, though, because, you know, they know all about losing. But the Rams and 49ers are going head-to-head for that division. I'm looking forward to it.
Not hating it.
No,
not hating it.
I
love that. By the way, message from my father. Though he loved the show on Thursday because that was the last show we were able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Our interview with Jerry Glanville.
That's
he thought that was very, very cool. He also said that was great and to please stop being so mean to Russell.
I never heard that last part.
He said,
so,
he goes, why? I said, Dad, you know how this works. You were a coach for 400 years. The guys that you love, that's who you punk. If I don't like you.
That's so true,
right,
isn't it?
If you don't like a guy, and let's say.
It's so true.
So, Russell, let's say I don't like you. You come up to me in the morning. You're passing me in the hallway. I know that you're, probably the ball boy for the basketball team or whatever. And I truly don't like you. So go by in the hall and give me a greeting. Just to pick up the microphone, give me a greeting, and I'll give you, if I don't like you, what happens.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Do you see what happened there? That means I don't like you.
This looks very cold.
Yeah.
It almost looks like you don't like him.
Yeah.
See, I know.
All right, so now the way we really feel about you, we like you. Give me the same greeting.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hey, good. How was your weekend? Did you dress up like Batman and wrestle another guy who looks like Superman?
Yeah, you did. Say you did.
There's the difference. You can tell which guy I like.
You know what? Russell's acting abilities are like 100% better than when we started last year.
Oh, no, he's really grown as an actor.
Oh, big time.
He really has. I used to have our good friend Brad Kowalski, who was in Calgary, and we called him the world's greatest actor, and he produced all that stuff, and I put him in every bit. And people said, it's not a bit unless Brad Kowalski's acting skills are in it. The world's greatest actor. We got to get Russell in some bits. By the way, speaking of world's greatest, let's talk a little golf right now, Dave.
Okay, let's do it.
And on the weekend, as you saw, formerly one of the world's greatest, Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Tigre. Le Petit Tigre.
Who wasn't quite good enough to win the Valspar, beating him, Mr. Dressup, and Russell at plus 15. No, they shook a little bit the Tiger-loving universe. And so now people are like, okay, here, ESPN title. Doubt him no more.
Please.
Tiger Woods is going to win again. No, he's not. Like, after one performance, you're going to base one of the more competitive PGA when you take a look at the entire tour.
Yep.
On a weekly basis, I'm saying you have 7 guys. At least 7 guys.
Minimum.
Maybe the top 10. You know, we'll talk to Zucchino when we get a chance. But on a weekly basis, are we not saying, let's say at least 7 to 10 legit guys who can win that tournament? And Tiger all of a sudden is going to start knocking them off? Or even enough to win, I don't mean a major, because I just don't see it. But do we really think if the over-under was 1, so a half, right? Because you got to kind of do it that way. You're not going to make it a push.
Yeah.
0.5, over-under. So does he win or lose essentially one more tournament? Or does he win? Can he win one more tournament?
I'm going to say he's capable of winning. If I'm betting it, like you just threw out a number.
Yeah, because it'll be a huge number, right?
I'm saying no, he does not win this year.
Look, he gave you some excitement on the 17th with, what was it, like a 43-footer or whatever.
That was a massive putt.
So that's what sparks you, because in the Tiger era, of the Tiger slams, he could do that. But you have to be able to shape your shots, I think, in and around the green. And you saw a lot of that.
And you know what? Disappointing on the commentary that call wasn't very good for that distance of putt.
I agree.
Like, somebody should have sat there and went, in your life!
Yeah.
Even though it's been used.
Yeah.
I don't care.
If that was me, I'm looking around going, in your life?
Yes.
Have you ever? Oh my!
Yes, see? And that was such a lousy call. The guy putts it in from a $5 cab fare, and there was no call for it.
And he got it, or whatever. Like,
yeah, it was
and that's in the hole.
Yeah, it's like really?
It's like when Dave Michigan calls other teams' goals, and it's in.
That's exactly.
And a goal. And
you know what I didn't like about Tiger's game too? That wasn't very Tiger-like, because everybody's sitting there wanting to parlay what Tiger did 10 years ago. And by the way, it's been 10 years since the guy won a major. 10 years.
10.
You know how long 10 years ago? We didn't even know each other 10 years ago. That's how long it's been.
2, 3, 10.
Yes, 10, exactly. He nails that putt on 17. He goes to 18 and uses an iron off the tee. Way too conservative. He should have went driver, sand wedge, hole. He goes iron, driving iron. He's still 185 out on 18. It wasn't very Tiger-like, and I know a lot of people will say, he doesn't hit his driver anymore. Well, guess what? The Tiger Woods that won tournaments pulls out the big dog, and the dog eats, and the dog hits hard. And yes, sometimes he goes in the rough, and sometimes he goes in the trees. He makes the recovery. He wins. He was so conservative on 18 when he had a chance to win and blew it. I'm not hating on Tiger Woods, but this isn't the Tiger Woods we know from the past, where everybody was sitting there going, Jack's record is in jeopardy. No, it's not.
No.
It's never going to be in jeopardy. Nobody's going to touch Jack's record, especially Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it's not about being mean. I think it's about being realistic. And I think at this point in his career, which the career's, I'm not even going to call it the twilight. The sun has set. This is...
You know what's funny?
The stars are out on that career.
He's 42 years old.
Yeah.
You still think that there should be some gas in the tank?
Oh, Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I look. Is it exciting? Do I think he's gonna do I think in a tournament like what's the one before the Masters? Is that the Shell?
The Shell Houston Open.
Yeah. Do I think he'll have? Number one, is he in it? I'm not sure.
I don't know his schedule. He's going to be at the Arnold Palmer next week, and that's what I'm really looking forward to because he goes back to back.
That was one of his tourneys, right?
Yes.
Do I think on Sunday he's wearing the red shirt at the Arnold Palmer? Is he wearing the red shirt at the Arnold Palmer? I say no. As a betting man, I'm saying flare up. Miss the cut.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting. Because he knows all about that tournament. He knows all about Bay Hill. He's been at Bay. It's funny, they were talking about Tiger Woods during the broadcast. He has 4 or 5 different greens in his backyard, and one of them is cut like Bay Hill for the putting green. So it's a little bit higher, a little bit, so it's funny because he's won there so many times. Can this version of RoboCop win at Bay Hill? Because that's essentially what he is.
This is home court advantage for Tiger. And I've got to say, I'm unsure if he'll make the cut.
See, if he doesn't make the cut at that course, then
that's what I'm saying.
The red flags, wherever they are, they're up.
Yeah, you lost in your own bathroom.
They're up. Yes.
That's really how I'm looking at it. And I will be very skeptical. And look, if you're a betting guy, what happens after a team goes to double overtime? And because this is the equivalent for me for Tiger Woods coming one stroke away from forcing a playoff in a tournament that happened yesterday, the equivalent of Davidson beating Rhode Island. And if this were a conference play and Davidson plays a team next, what do bettors do?
Yeah,
they go hard against the guys who just had a tiring and emotional and a huge win, and that's in any sport. Let's face it, that's almost in any sport. So I'll be very curious to see what happens Arnold Palmer wise, and I'm not going to be surprised if it goes the other way. Now, when it comes to Tiger Woods, that being said, all the negativity that I just spewed out, but I'm just trying to be honest. I'm trying to be raw, like the show, raw.
Ooh, I like it.
There have been some moments that I thought were pretty good. Now, this comes a bunch of years ago. I'm not sure which tournament this is. And I know people get on Phil. Fig Jam. If you don't like him occasionally, that's going to come up. Well, for Tiger Woods, this was a great moment, I thought. Not sure what tournament it is. And quite honestly, when they have those marshals that say, now on the tee box, Dave Bastel from Jupiter, Florida. Hey. And then they'll sometimes say the tournaments that you win. Well, I'm assuming this is property of the PGA. I don't know because they're not playing it. There's no little thing on there, but we get gooned all the time. But here is a great moment where Phil Mickelson, who's playing with him, as they're going through all the wins, this is during the Tiger Slam era, all the tournaments that he's won, and apparently Phil, who's bouncing the golf ball off the face of his driver, you can hear the click, 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 has had enough of the Tiger love off the first tee box.
Championship.
Winner of 34 PGA Tour events, including the 2002 Masters Tournament, the U.S. Open, the Bay Hill Invitational, the Buick Open, the American Express World Golf Championship.
All right. We know
Good for him. Good for him.
Awesome. That was awesome. So we go from awesome to not as awesome. And maybe you've seen it before, maybe you haven't.
That's the worst announcer ever, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's.
What, do they just hire the first person that signed up on an application? Shouldn't you have some sort of command of whatever?
Old Ethel's probably been a member there since.
Yeah, I know.
When they say 1903.
That's probably how she said it, too.
Charles Barkley.
Yes.
How a guy who was a bona fide, not only a collegiate athlete, but he's Hall of Fame, is he not?
Yes.
Barkley? Okay. Hall of Famer in the NBA. How can you not figure out golf swing? I know it's not the same kind of mechanics, but I don't understand in his head how he doesn't see that it's not one continuous motion, once again due to popular demand. Here is the strangeness and weirdness of Charles Barkley trying to hit a golf ball. So weird. I just don't understand how in his head he sees this as a swing. What? It's the stopping part.
Oh, man.
Everybody laughs. It's the sound after. Oh my. That wasn't good. That's gonna. Like, how do you. I mean, it's going to go on all day. Look at it. How do you not know? Like, when you shoot a free throw, do you put it up, stop, and then the wrist follows through?
Zero follow.
I just it's a miracle that he is in his mind as an athlete. He didn't feel that.
That makes no sense.
Of course, he's a millionaire.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants, and maybe people just come out to see him.
Yeah, and
It's like let's see him shoot that shot.
Yeah. Do you think if you asked him what do you think about the game, I don't think he would care all that much, to be honest.
You don't think so?
No.
No. Is he ever going to be a guest on the show? Because we kind of miss him.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's do tomorrow.
Okay. I don't want to wake him up or anything this early on a Monday, but I'm just saying.
We'll get Sir Charles on tomorrow. We'll talk about March Madness.
March Madness. He's a big fan of the Raptors. Massive fan. Like on TNN or TNT, I should say. He has come out and said that the Raptors are going to represent the Eastern Conference. Like he has come, and then Kenny the Jad and the rest of the panel kind of sits there and eye rolls. But I'm on board. I think Sir Charles was 100% correct. But this is unbiased. Okay, this is if the Raptors win, great. If they lose, okay. What are you going to do? But I think the Raptors are the best team in the East, and I think he's on to something.
Here's on Twitter what's going on. It's amazing what happens while the show's on. Here's one from our good friend Mac. He's awesome. He's been part of. You want to win the ratings war? Hire Ron Mike Richards on any sports morning show. You'll be number one in the first 3 days. Yes, we're ready. Just so you know, this is what
Mac,
we're doing.
You're right.
Yeah, Mac's bang on. Bang on. They don't want to hear that though.
You know what they call Mac when he's at work?
What?
Mac Attack.
Oh,
I know this for sure.
He's got a lot of names. Just so you know, he's got a lot of names on Twitter. Sometimes he has to, because sometimes Twitter doesn't like what he says because he's honest. They don't like that. Okay, so here's the thing about the Raps. Yesterday's game was, if you're a Knicks fan, again, we showed those clips of Walt Frazier and just all the
Bernard King, Patrick Ewing, John Starks.
And that's the latter years. But just MSG. I think they were the first in the league to have what they call theater lighting.
Theater lighting, yep.
Theater lighting, because it was the show. This is Broadway. You're putting on a show.
Yeah,
this
Knickerbockers.
Is the Knickerbockers, and now they're a G League team, and they look like, because Porzingis is gone, so just a series of guys that go on the floor. And I got to tell you, for the Raptors right now, in the day, the Raptors sometimes, Dave, would play down to the competition. So they'd go up against teams like Charlotte, and they would lose. Even if they were better than Charlotte, they would, and they usually have been. Charlotte have been terrible from time to time. Well, okay, a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And they would still lose. Teams like that, they would struggle against. Now, they are really putting the boots to it. So a property of the NBA and NBA broadband properties, here's the whipping, or part of it, that the Raps gave the Knicks yesterday.
A big part of their success earlier this season. There's Van Vliet hitting a three.
You mentioned their defense, Kenny. They're the best in the league. D'ing up.
Siakam.
On the defense.
Siakam's been amazing.
Shots early on in the game.
This is Wright dishing off to Pirtle. Siakam with the rebound. Right from three.
They just have so much now that they can offer, and once again, you saw coming off the bench. There's Van Vliet looking good. They can rest their star. I mean, there's a time where if Kyle wasn't on the floor, than you really had to worry about. Now I don't think they have that kind of concern. In fact, I think if you're in the NBA right now and you're taking a look at how playoffs might unfold, what is the one thing that I think more than any other year that if you play the Raptors that you're concerned about? It's got to be that second unit, because the second unit that they put on is better than yours.
Yes.
And so when you're sitting there watching,
second unit is comparable and can defensively shut down a lot of people's first. That's the thing, and a lot of people sit there and go, "What? That makes no." It makes
total basketball sense.
It does. And the funny thing about this Raptors team, if they wanted to, and they have at times this season, they make full changes. It's almost like a line in hockey that comes off the ice, and it's unheard of. It's just weird because you sit there and you go, wow, it's the starting five are on the bench, and a lot of times, like for example, yesterday against the Knicks, a lot of people may not know this, but there's and you should know this because moving forward there will be even more and more of these things. There's a lot of game props on Sports Interaction, and I couldn't recommend them even more to take a look at. But if you look at yesterday's game, raise your hand if you thought DeMar DeRozan had single-digit points, because he scored 9 points in this game. They scored close to 140 points, and their top scorer scored 9. That's telling you exactly what this bench looks like. Wright with 10, Siakam with 9, Miles with 13, Van Fleet with 11. It just so good off the bench, Mike, where you don't necessarily need DeMar in these kind of games. You could rest him properly for something of more significance, but it's been very good, and they've been very good this year. They'll crush Brooklyn on Wednesday if you're looking at numbers and odds. And
trying to match it up too with some college games. Oh, mama! Sorry, I get excited. Actually, this is a pretty cool thing. So one of our, and these are really. From time to time, I've received some stuff from Brian. And Brian sends in a really cool message to me the other day. This was just after, actually, I was wearing the Tie-Cat jersey for the Jared Glanville interview. Said, hey, Mike, one of Bastel's fellow Slovenians here.
Welcome.
Which is, welcome is Slovenian.
It's good.
Yeah. My cousin Matt Stajan is close to his 1,000th career game. I started a page to raise funds for the Alberta Children's Hospital to honor the occasion. It's a place that's close to his and Katie's hearts. If you don't mind sending out a message, I really appreciate it. I'll even overlook the Tie-Cat fan thing. All the best, and I hope you're doing well. Miss you on 1050, but your new show is truly raw, and I love it. Link to my fundraiser is below. Thank you so much. So we wanted to get that on here today because, of course, we weren't able to do it. And also, please rise for the Slovenian national anthem.
Everybody up.
Here we go. This was written by Steve Kopitar. There are a lot of Kopitars over there. If you know the words, sing them out. Yeah. So once again, you can throw that back up there. There's the donation page, and I will throw out the link later on today. If you're watching now or you're seeing this on Twitter, the link is what you want to click. Raising money for the Alberta Children's Hospital, which does unbelievable work out there. They're fabulous people. And if you're a parent, at some point you really hope that you never need them.
True.
But when you do, you pray to God for people who work in places like that. So, courtesy of Brian, his cousin Matt Stajan.
Well done, Brian.
Yeah, we'll raise some money. Click on the link and donate. It's a great thing to do.
I had no idea you knew the anthem.
Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic.
Started off nice, ended horribly. It's really the trait of the show, isn't it?
Way better than Fergie, though.
Yeah.
Way better.
Oh, my God.
Just saying.
Oh, my God, please. That
I
was
know.
so bad. Once again, we'll talk a little hockey here in a second, but because basketball, it's in the air. It's in the air. If I show any college stuff, who knows what's going to go on. Now, is this the high school one? Is this the, because this is crazy. So, very often you have the halftime game shows and all that kind of stuff. We saw a bunch of it. They're going to give away, and I think it's a high school or a small college. I'm not sure where this is from. It just caught my eye. You know, you normally have to make a certain amount of shots, just like they do in those games, and you get, 1,000 for this, so it's easy. 2,000 for that. It's a series of shots you got to make to win the whole 10,000. I've never really seen it. The only time I've ever seen a guy win this kind of arrangement was the Wendy's CFL kickoff. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I know him.
And the guy went on.
He's a friend of mine. Yeah.
He had good shoes on.
Yeah, I know.
Like he had dress shoes on, and he kicked the first. So it was like 30. Was it 20, 30, 40, 50?
Yeah, and you get a prize for every
each
kick.
Each kick.
So, like, for example, the 20 is like a nice stereo system, right?
So this guy's kicking basically straight on with good shoes. I'm thinking, there's no way. There's no way.
He may as well have been from Edmonton if he was wearing sweatpants.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's true. It's absolutely true. It's in the Bible. Makes the 20. The 30, I thought, even because he looked like a bit of a bigger guy, so if he manages to get that toe on it, it's probably going to go through. 40, I highly doubted. And he kicks a 50-yarder. And the look on his face, the place goes crazy. I think Dave Randorf. I think it was Randorf doing the game. I want to say it was like Randorf.
Okay.
And his girlfriend comes running onto the field. It was $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I thought of, he's getting a new girlfriend. And so the question is, did he? I know it's not nice. It's the first thing I thought of.
Not that I know.
Yeah.
You know what? I made the mistake. I didn't know that guy. I knew the guy that won the truck the next year.
Oh, no. This is the guy who won the million.
Yes, I know what
and
you're
the girl
talking
comes
about.
running on the field. And he goes,
he
goes, yeah, we're breaking up. All right. Yeah. Here's a guy who does the same thing. It is basketball. And I love a winning reaction, and you're going to see one here. First one obviously going to be very easy. Has to go down and make a layup. There we go. Then he has to make a free throw. So a lot of people are going to do this. Okay, but then he's got to shoot a 3. Notice the guy doesn't help him because this is timed, by the way. The 3. Matt Devlin would say, the 3.
From Pickering.
And no way. From Saskatoon. Now, unfortunately, he died from the injuries due to that.
I was going to say.
Look at that. Look at that.
Okay, so what did he win? What did he win?
$10,000.
That's fantastic. Oh, wow.
But $10,000.
That's great. Could solve a lot of
problems.
But
I made a free throw and a 3. You have guys on the Knicks.
Yeah, no kidding.
And apparently guys from Cincinnati, the Bearcats, who can't make a free throw.
So true. So true.
I love that stuff, though, don't you?
I
like when people win. I don't like it when people go out and they're just terrible athletes. And he's as simple as it is, it just crashes.
The only time I've ever laughed at somebody that's lost at a game when I saw it live, and it was quite funny. So the Argos are in Skydome, and there is a halftime prize giveaway where you're blindfolded and you win a trip to WestJet, anywhere WestJet flies. So the woman is blindfolded, and she's doing one of these, and the crowd is cheering. Yeah, go in that direction. So she points, and the final piece of the WestJet prize is probably around, I'm going to say, the 5-yard line, right on the sideline. So you're probably about, I'm going to say conservatively, 8 to 10 yards away from the cardboard cutouts on the sideline. So she points in that direction. The crowd starts screaming, and she beelines it, and she's going hard, blindfolded, misses the target, and goes through the cardboard that is probably about the size of someone's waist, trips over, and lands on her face. And then the entire crowd goes, ooh. And then you hear kind of sarcastic snickering, and yeah. You were at the game too. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
See, that is kind of funny, though. Falling down is funny.
It was blindfolded too, and you felt terrible for it. And it's like, oh man. When you're blindfolded, maybe don't do the 40-yard sprint to inside of a 25-yard run pattern, right?
Well, humiliation, and that's how I think, when you're getting older too, like when people don't laugh, they're more concerned than it is funny.
Yeah.
That's not good either. One thing that I when we're going through all our golf stuff, right? Because this is the kind of season, right? You get to a certain time of year and you can see it in the guys, because guys, my father's always done this. While they're talking to you, so say it's in the parking lot.
Okay.
Or say you're lined up, maybe you're in the bank, although nobody does that anymore.
No.
When's the last time you were in a bank?
Yeah, unheard of.
So you're sitting there and you see guys
Practicing. Yeah, warming up.
the guy, and they're, my dad does like these warm ups. I'm like, Dad, and it's like, he's thinking about, it's usually like, like some lob wedge in their head. It's rarely a driver. It's usually like, and they're like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad. Unless there's something that, I'm
That's a
unaware
heavy
of.
par 3. That's a very heavy par 3.
But guys, even if you took out your driver, if you don't hit it that far, most guys are probably going to make a 235.
Yes.
It's in that range. Like, you'd have a shot at it. It's not.
But accuracy wise,
Well, that's the problem.
that's big time hard. Because if you're using, say you're using a long iron like a 3-4, or if you're using a 3 wood or something like that.
I'm on that. See, you're so high up though. How far does it? Like,
That
how far
takes
does it
into
travel?
account, right? Exactly. That's where you have to kind of. Obviously, you're not going to expect to get the range of it on 1 or 2 shots, but if you have the opportunity to do it, say you're using a 3 or a 4 iron, those don't stick when your ball lands. Those, and you're only looking at, what do they say, 9 meters was the green?
But if it's dropping from like
That's true,
like from
too.
an airplane, it's probably going to stick.
I don't know.
Otherwise, if you use a 3 wood on a normal, you're not sticking
That thing
that.
rolls.
Yeah, you're not sticking that.
No.
So Russell, as you're watching that, I saw you getting a little excited. I know how your mind works. Do you think that, because you said you're going to work real hard to improve your game, could you make the green?
Definitely, 100%.
God, no.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
He couldn't on 100 shots.
I say the average person is going to take. Like, do I think that I could do it with under 10 shots?
Yes.
You think I could?
Yes.
It's pretty narrow from.
If I put enough rye in you, you could probably do it under 5 shots.
Well, there's a difference. If they're triples,
if you're
I might get under 5. It's sad, folks.
if you're in
I'm not
Dubai,
I'm not making this
he
up.
gets better the more he gets fueled.
People see it's spinach to Popeye.
True, it is.
Rye. Alberta Premium, by the way.
Oh, very good.
I was old school on that one.
Yep.
Okay, so let's also, because as Gino, do you call him Gino? Melkin?
You know what? If I'm with Joe Bartnick, I do, because you'll understand it a little more. But it's Evgeny Malkin to me. Yeah.
Okay, so
Gino Malkin. And by the way, that's your Hart Trophy winner this year. I think it's been said, sealed, done, delivered. And trust me, I'm a huge, enormously huge Blake Wheeler fan, and I think he should be part of the conversation. But Gino Malkin is your winner of the Hart Trophy this year. That's already been. It should be on the trophy already. If you go to the Hall of Fame here, just a couple blocks south of us, it should say Gino Malkin already on the trophy.
Looking at that scoring race,
Yes.
is Line A, does he hold on?
Well, he's tied right now, and they go head-to-head tonight.
Like Ovechkin. How many times do people talk about Ovechkin?
Every single day, every single hour.
See,
every
because I
single
don't
minute.
find it's the guys used to froth them out. They either think he was a scumbag or a dirty player. They talk, there's always this feeling about Ovechkin, and I just have the feeling because of how it is in Washington. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It really is quite a feat.
Well, six-time Rocket Richard winner. He's looking for number 7. They're both at 40 goals. Ovechkin hasn't scored in 3 games. Liney's been on a tear. Liney's so good right now. And think about this for a second. His last 30 shots on goal, he has scored 15 times.
No, he's a beast.
That's amazing.
But,
that's amazing for what he's done, especially in the last 2-3 weeks.
I know it's a football term.
He's winning it, by the way. I got him to win the Rocket Richard. I think he wins it. I think the hot streak continues. We're less than a month away from final puck drop on the regular season. I think it's April 7th. I think April 7th, April 8th, something like that. That's Sunday.
And like I said, even though originated as a football term, I suppose. That whole beast mode. Mm-hmm. But that's what he is.
He is.
Like, he is beast mode.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that shot, like people talked about when Ovechkin joined the NHL, it's over a decade ago, which is kind of hard to believe that he's been around that long. Nice big, winger, 6'2", 6'3", 210. Patrick Laine's 6'5", 230.
Is that not a beast?
It's
and that's
enormous.
without skates. That's not on skates.
Exactly. He's massive out there, and he's a treat to watch. He sets up where everybody else does. All your goal scorers will set up on one of the circles. Your Stamkos, Ovechkin, your Patrick Laine's, guys like that. And he is number one in the craft that he does, and that's scoring goals.
He's a nasty piece of business, too.
He totally is.
And I think I like that. To me, that's old school. But, in the same way, and I know people probably don't want to hear it, same with Ovechkin. Mm-hmm. Ovechkin is a bigger human being than I think people realize.
Correct.
He's a big guy.
Yep.
He just never played like it. He just never played like the highlight reel that he was in his first couple of years, especially that one goal where he flips over on his back. And he's on the
against
ice
the Coyotes.
Yeah, that goal. What is he? 6'3"? Does that look like a 6'3" guy doing that? No way. So I think that's interesting. But we also maybe, if we take a look at Evgeny Malkin, we sometimes never put him and Sid in the same category. Sid always seems to be in a slightly different universe. Do you think that's unfair?
I think it is. It's starting to be more and more. Well, you see, the thing is, Sid is arguably the number one two-way player in the world, and Sid is from Canada. Sid is the Canadian national team's captain. Sometimes sometimes Mick Jagger gets the attention when Keith Richards is pretty damn fantastic himself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I also think too. And you bring up, I think, what sometimes is the biggest divider in this, and that is passport. Mm-hmm. Where's your passport?
Yeah.
Because Ovechkin, if he were, let's say, Canadian, let's say he was Canadian.
Be a lot bigger of a deal.
Do you remember he was joking around in the All-Star game? I want to say it was the game in Ottawa, but I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't but I thought it was and he had the Canadian flags
sticking out of his helmet.
And he was doing all these crazy
hat
shots.
Or whatever it was, yeah.
Sid would never do that.
Nope.
Sid's just not his thing.
Nope.
But if it was a guy that you like, let's say it was someone like Matthews, he wouldn't do that either. But let's say he did. Would people like him or hate him for it? Would he be loved or hated for doing that?
Just because, like, say in Sid Crosby's case?
But let's say it's Austin Matthews, so one of the younger players, and he goes to the All-Star game and he puts Canadian flags, and then he does like a goofy, crazy shot, because that's kind of what he did. That was a real sort of line in the sand for me when I said I'm done with the All-Star game. But the goalies were standing backwards and doing. Well,
you know what?
With
somebody like Austin Matthews, Leaf fans would be loving it.
I'd say they love it.
Leaf fans would be, but you talk to my buddies in Western Canada, they think he's a bigger dick than what he is today. Because guess what? Western Canada hates Austin Matthews. I'm sorry, that's the way it is, and it has a lot to do with him wearing a Toronto Maple Leaf jersey.
Way to go, Dave. Someone's crying now. You got someone crying.
I'm just telling. That's the truth, though. It's the truth. They don't like this American guy from Scottsdale wearing a Maple Leafs jersey in the biggest city in Canada, and that's. I'm sorry. I know there's Leaf fans throughout Canada, but as much love as they do have in certain places, there is equal or double the hate. But this, is a geographical.
It totally is.
It totally is.
Argument.
If Austin Matthews plays for the Buffalo Sabres, just an irrelevant team like that. The Ottawa Senators, talk about no relevance at all. Maybe the biggest embarrassments in the NHL. They probably don't care as much. I'm just saying it has a lot to do with the jersey, which I think it's a knock, and it's too bad because I think he's a very good player.
We briefly touched upon the NFL, and as we mentioned that Sherman is now going to be a 49er.
Yeah, massive.
But you know what? And I don't know if it gets passed over, even though it was of, I thought, significance. Tyrod Taylor. Now, I guess when you're benched and Peterman comes in, maybe you've got a feeling that maybe things aren't going well, because that to me was this is a team that literally is playoff bound.
Yep.
Or at least they're in that race. I mean, it's a legit team that is going legitimately to a playoff, and you put in a guy who is not their future at all, and you put him in. and then Taylor has to come back and play. Well, he gets dealt to Cleveland. Now, for him, is it a good move, bad move? But I think if you're Cleveland, you did all right on this.
Yeah, I think it's a placeholder. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to draft a quarterback with numbers 1 or 4, depending on what they go with. And it is a placeholder quarterback, which isn't the worst idea for Cleveland. I love what they have done with the receiving core, because you put Jarvis Landry in there with a Coleman who's already in place, a Josh Gordon who seems to be, knock on wood, clean again. Those are 3 very good receivers. If they have some sort of running game with Duke Johnson, Tyrod Taylor is a very serviceable quarterback. If Joe Thomas returns to the offensive line, which he should, the Cleveland Browns, and just wait for me, the Cleveland Browns might win 7 games next year. That's how good this Cleveland Brown team can do. And I know it doesn't sound like a great number when you're 7-9, but for the Cleveland Browns to win 7 games after what's happened the last 2 seasons, somebody's going to win a Coach of the Year, and it's Hugh Jackson in Cleveland.
Well, let's talk about some of those other free agents, because we are in that era or that time frame right now for the NFL.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins is the pretty girl to dance.
He certainly is. And what we're hearing about Kirk Cousins right now is he's not going to be accepting any visits from teams or anything like that. Your 3 front runners, the Vikings are the favorites. Number 2 would be between the Jets and the Broncos. And I think number 2 and 3 are distant 2 and 3. I think he's going to be wearing a Minnesota Vikings jersey within the next week here when it actually comes to pass. It's going to happen fast, and he may become the richest quarterback in the history of the league. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are sitting there going, Kirk Cousins? It's like, yeah, Kirk Cousins will be the highest paid quarterback is what I'm predicting in the NFL.
If he goes to the Vikings, and again, it's sort of that domino effect, depending on where he goes, it will have that chain reaction of who people are going after following that. So if it's a Case Keenum, for instance,
yes,
are the Broncos available? Is he a Jet then at that point?
I hope not.
The Cardinals also probably in that conversation.
But these are teams that are looking, right?
Yeah. And Buffalo now sitting with nobody.
Yes.
Really.
And you're talking about the chain reaction. When Kirk Cousins gets scooped up, and likely it's the Minnesota Vikings, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the hottest commodity out there, and somebody's going to want to take Teddy Bridgewater, who's a former first-round pick, and should be able to plant himself into an offense and do decently. I'm not saying he's going to win you playoff games, but he should be able to move an offense successfully. He's going to be a hot commodity, and that's crazy to even think about considering he hasn't played a game in over 2.5 years.
If I'm Teddy, the one place that I think I'm looking at, a team that I believe probably has a strong enough defense, so I'm getting the ball back, because that's part of it too. If he has the right protection, I might take the Broncos if I'm him.
That's interesting, because they do have a very good defense, and they do have a couple of weapons on offense. I think the Broncos are front runners just because they are looking for that quarterback. Don't sleep on the Miami Dolphins. He's from the Miami area. I know they have Ryan Tannehill in place, but I don't know if they're sold on him just yet. So that could be a possibility. Don't sleep on the Jets. I wouldn't go as far as saying that somebody like a New York Giants could be looking at a Teddy Bridgewater, considering that Eli's time is almost up. If Eli plays next season, it might be his last season. But the Giants are also looking at drafting a quarterback, so that may throw a little bit of a wrench into the situation. And I don't think if you're Teddy Bridgewater, you're wanting to go to a team that's drafting 2nd overall, and we're plucking our franchise quarterback who will play for the next decade.
It also depends on the kind of market you want to play in. If you're not a New York guy, because that is, as you know, Dave, it is a different world. It is a world city that lives and breathes 24 hours a day. And guess what? If you're the quarterback for the Jets, everybody will know your face and your name. You might want Denver's kind of a small market in comparison. Denver, you might want to go there.
Gorgeous city too.
Yeah.
By the way, throw the Buffalo Bills into that Teddy Bridgewater conversation as well.
Yeah,
because I don't think Nathan Peterman is going to be the answer at all.
He better
sorry,
not. He better not.
No.
And just like it's so weird that one team like the Vikings is going to spur on almost an entire league of free agents in one position at quarterback. But you also have to think about Sam Bradford too. Where is he going to go?
Well, he's going somewhere, right?
Yeah, and I just don't know, quite honestly, if you really want to take. If it's me, I'm not that interested, because I think not only is the time passed, but I think there's a slight damaged goods feel to it.
Completely.
I just don't see him taking a team to championships. I don't.
Nice player if you could get him on a flyer, but you can't commit massive money to a Sam Bradford and expect to say, okay, well, here's our offense and here's our offensive playbook, and Sam Bradford's on the cover of the offense. That cannot possibly happen, because if you're looking at over-under games for Sam Bradford in 2018, it's probably around 6. So, and a lot of people are probably pressing the under button, and you know what, for good reason. We do have breaking news this morning that the Dolphins plan to release defensive tackle Dominican Sue, so that will free up some money. It's a heavy contract, Mike, and to put them take that money off of the payroll, maybe they're looking at other avenues where they're going to spend it. Some people say it could be Mo Wilkinson of the New York Jets, formerly of the New York Jets, who was released last week as well. We're getting into the stages where people are looking at that roster and going, cut, and it's all to do with cap relief, because they have to start figuring out what they can and can't afford. And big ticket items like this for aging defensive tackles that are getting slow, I'm sorry, they just don't keep up anymore, and they have to be released.
In the bloodletting that's happening on the West Coast with Seattle, so Jimmy Graham probably going to be unloaded.
Correct.
Be careful, though. Don't fall in love with the resume from years past. I'm not so sure what you're getting with Jimmy Graham. The other question is if Sammy Watkins is available, do we have confidence in him? Because at one point, coming out of college ball, he was like the game-breaking. He's your designated number one guy. Is he still a number one?
I don't think he is. I think he's one of those guys that is almost Sam Bradford light. He is injury prone. He's a smaller receiver for the position that he plays. Can he play a full season? Well, show me if you can, because I don't think you can. So I don't think you commit massive amounts of money. Do you bring in a Sammy Watkins to your camp if you have the opportunity at a decent price point? 100% you do, because I think he's that good of a receiver. The Rams showed it last year, but if you looked at his numbers with the Rams, he missed almost as much as he played.
Here's because we're going to talk about Aiden's Drive. That is part of Epilepsy Canada, and a good friend of ours, Jay Barker, his son, is the one that inspired the Tournament for Epilepsy Canada. And, of course, with our good friend Gary Collins, it is in June. In July.
July.
Did we say July the 10th?
Something like that, July 10th or 11th.
11th, in there somewhere, because we're going to be up there broadcasting live once again. And it's a great day. Hockley Valley.
Hockley Valley is gorgeous.
And they have their own winery up there now. Wine and golf in a pool.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to talk more about that. We'll probably get Jay back on here soon, see how his son is doing. Because
it's a good idea, and have him promote the charity and make sure people go out there, sign up. And
we're looking for foursomes and sponsors. So
right.
I'll probably be contacting those that I think have the ability to do it. It's not crazy money. But it's certainly, do we have that up on the screen now? And what is the official date on that? Is it the 10th or the 11th?
July 10th.
July 10th.
Tuesday, July 10th.
Okay, so we're going to be doing some of that this year as we want to support our good friends at Epilepsy Canada. Jay has also just said that he has entered. You're allowed 2 brackets in my challenge, because some people do like 10, and they're like, oh yeah, I came third, or process of elimination. You do like 10 of them. Maybe you do get it all right. I'm saying 2, so you have your sheet of integrity, as they like to call it, and then you have maybe that backup in case that big upset doesn't happen, or however you do it. At least 2. Jay just tweets in his, I've got 2 in, and have 0 confidence in either one of them.
Fair enough.
Tough but fair.
What? We just become best friends? Yep.
I love this time of year, though.
You want to go do karate in the garage? Yep.
Yes, we do. Yes.
It's time!
So remember, I'll tweet it out again today, but this is the Raw Mike Richards Bracket Challenge. We did it last year, had a lot of fun. We're going to do it again. One year, maybe we'll actually have prizes. Have Russell Graham come over for a weekend to your house.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Feet rubs, hugs, and French toast.
Let's get ready to rumble!
He's not even looking at us now. He refused. My father's going, son, didn't we have this talk about doing that stuff? Don't forget, we'll have our March Madness show on Wednesday morning. Will Strickland going to be in. We'll also talk to Leo Routens and maybe others and more surprises. Oh, come on, March Madness. God, I love this time. And I love gambling. I got a problem.